to Nerdazons. My name's Ange.
And I'm Steph.
And this is a podcast about all our really cool, fun, nerdy stuff that we like to talk about. So we should probably mention how we first became friends. We went to a Doctor Who convention.
Actually, before that, we became friends. Well, actually, it was really funny. We ended up in Adelaide together at the Comic-Con there. I was there to meet Billy Piper. You were there.
I was there for Robert Englund and Billy Piper, but mostly Robert Englund. Like, I had to see him.
And then I was at the Doctor Who Symphony Spectacular with my dad.
And I was there with my godfather as well, in complete costume, and she still didn't see me.
No, and then we were at the Doctor Who's lunch day.
It was Hooniverse.
Hooniverse, that's right, yep.
And we were like 2 seats away from each other.
Yeah, and you were in a onesie.
I was, a TARDIS onesie, and she just tapped on my shoulder, and she was just like, oh my God, I love your onesie.
Yeah,
and then, like, everything, like, I don't know, we spoke to each other, like, we have been friends for years. Like, yeah, it was like you just immediately came back up to me. It's like, what should I do? What should I do with this? What should I do with that? And I'm like, oh my God, she wants to talk to me.
I know, and I was so excited because when I get photos because what I'm trying to do is try to meet as many people from Doctor Who as I can, so I can make a family tree, and I like to have funny photos with, like, my favourite quotes on the photos. And I was just like...
You didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do.
Just like, what should I do? And then I'm like, do this, do that. I like to collect the autographs on my DVD cases, but that's kind of stopped. That's not really going very far. But yeah, so, and then I just started collecting the quotes too. I don't think I was doing, because I met Jenna Coleman just before that, and I was not doing the quotes, and I completely 100% regret that. And same with Billy Piper, I wasn't doing it for her either, and I wish I had got the quote that you've got. It would have just been the best.
I can't even remember the quote.
It was Queen Victoria episode with David Tennant. We are not amused.
That's right.
That's it, yeah. And I wish I had got that, but I was too busy talking to her about Penny Dreadful. I was like completely not talking about Doctor Who, so it was completely
different. As you can
see,
we clearly love Doctor Who.
Yes, so that is a big thing for us. And yeah, so with our podcast, we hope to talk about a movie and a TV show. And then we've got a little section on here where Steph is going to talk for a bit on your fun facts. And then we'll round it up with Ange's Penny Dreadfuls. So the movie that we are going to talk about in our first podcast is Deadpool 2. So I think you need to go first because you really weren't sold on it.
No, I wasn't sold on it completely. Don't get me wrong, I did like it. However, the first one was totes better. I think it was better for the pure fact that it was a shock factor for me. You know, and the violence and things that wasn't.
Oh my God, how good was it in like the first one?
I wasn't expecting it for a comic book because I mean I've never read those comics, so I didn't know what to expect. And then the second one was funny. I guess I don't know. I wasn't sold on it, and I wasn't expecting as much. I don't know. I was sold on the hype.
Yeah. See, whereas I like it, I think it was an equal. I really do. Like, there are very few like sequels that can live up to the first movie, and I feel like Deadpool 2 did it. Like, out of Marvel, X-Men and the Mutant Universe is like my favorite universe out of them all.
See, I'm not a huge X-Men fan.
See, I love, like, my absolute favorite Marvel character of all time is Magneto. So, like, I just really, really like that. And I really like to see that they're coming back into, like, not that they're really going to do much more. Or they've got another X-Men. Dark Phoenix is coming out next year, so we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, like, I really liked the X-Men movies when they came out. They just don't continue really they need to do more, in my opinion, and it was really cool to see it in there. And I mean, like, I just love the little X-Force all the way through. Like, they're just dicks the whole way through, and I love it. And
I maybe because I'm not a huge X-Men fan that I didn't get half the references.
Yeah, like, I think you really, like, to make it funny, you really need to know all the references. And I think we went to trivia, me and my partner and his friend went to trivia 2 or 3 days after, and we weren't even expecting trivia. It was just on, and like we made our team X-Force, and it's just the whole way through it's like X-Force after every like question we would do.
That's really cute.
It's really, really fun. I love how they did that, and I really love the hi Yukio, hi Wade, and it was just like the whole way through, and I'm like, she's cool and he's cool. Like, I liked it. And yeah, like all the references, like I think you really need to know them to get it and really like it. So to me, I feel like it was a really good sequel. I mean, obviously the first is going to be the best. The first always is, but I think that one was a sequel that lived up to it, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I do have one thing. Like, I know that Ryan Reynolds did do Juggernaut, but I really wish they put Vinnie Jones back in. Like,
I have no idea who Juggernaut is. What's Juggernaut?
Juggernaut's the big guy at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's just a character. And, like, I know the third X-Men movie was, like, The Last Stand. It was, like, you know, people hated it. They shit on it, you know. But Vinnie Jones was just so cool as the Juggernaut, and he's just got that personality that I think really, really suits it, and it would have been really awesome if, like, he was just back in it. And I love Vinnie Jones. In any movie he's in, he's just funny as, because he swears, and he's got that really awesome accent that goes with it, and he's just...
I couldn't imagine anybody other than Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool, though.
Exactly. Like, and everyone knew that. And, like, obviously, you know, the X-Men movie that we do not talk about, the Wolverine Origins movie, like, and it was just...
I've never seen that.
Brilliant. Like, at the end, you know, when he went back and there was a Ryan Reynolds that had...
Yeah, that's the terrible Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and it was just... perfect. Like, everyone, like, that movie is just, you don't speak of it. That movie never happened, and like everyone knows he was made to be that role, and they just shit on that role, and it's really good to see that they brought it back properly. So
that's why in the movie they go back and
he goes back, he makes fun of it, and he does the same with Green Lantern. Like, he knows people shit all over that movie, and it's just like, finally a movie's come out that is good for you.
No, that was a terrible movie.
But I mean, like, he had great, like, movies in the 90s, so like he's a great, like, he was just made for that role.
I only just found out that he was in Two Guys Ago at a Pizza Place.
Oh my god, what?
But then again, like, I haven't seen it in such a long time.
That's like, oh my god. Like, do you remember him in Van Wilder?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, but now I need to go. I really want to go back and
movie was so good. I love the the dog in that one, and he's like, obviously you know where that's going if you've seen it, and the like cakes. Do you remember that? Oh, that's the best bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple TV shows to talk about. So Steph is going to talk about one of her own, and I'm going to talk about one of my own. So Steph is. What are you going to talk about today?
Okay, so my show is London Spy. Mm-hmm. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's 5 episodes, 1 season, an hour per episode. So it's an easy binge.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Yes, and it is only one season, so rounds up, miniseries. So
that's good. I can't add any more to my Netflix list.
No, that's what I like about it, is because it does no questions left.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. I like series like that.
Okay, so it's a thriller with, it's suspenseful, it's drama, there's romance, there's everything a great show needs.
Oh, right. It's the whole pack.
It is. So it's a romance between two unlikely lovers. Mm-hmm. One is from the club scene, drinking, booze, and all that kind of stuff. And the other one is from the Secret Intelligence Service.
Mm.
Yeah, so what happens is they get together, and then mystery is when one of them is murdered.
Yeah. Okay.
Which one? I guess you do find out in the show.
Uh-huh.
However, it does keep you guessing till the very end were they murdered or not.
It sounds really good. Like, it sounds like a really modern twist on, you know, opposites attract. Obviously, you know, life's not always peachy, so that, like, it's got the very, very, very negative stuff about life, which we hope murder does not come out in every entail. But no, it sounds good. I haven't watched it myself, so I'm relying on your recommendation for this.
Yeah, it's great. And it's actually got the dad from Bridget Jones's Diary.
Oh my god, I love him.
I love
Bridget Jones's Diary. Just FYI, it's Jim Broadbent. I really, really love that series. That was a must that my partner had to watch when we got together.
Have you seen Bridget Jones's Baby?
Yeah, I didn't really like it.
No,
but it was really, really good to end. I watched it with a mate of mine I've known since I was like 4. She's my best mate, and we have watched them all together, and like, it's like, okay, come on, you really shouldn't be doing another one, but the ending just had me in, like, I screamed, I was happy, it was such a good ending, but yeah, they really didn't need to continue Bridget Jones. So off topic, back to London Spy.
So London Spy, it's so good, and it'll like keep you guessing.
So it's not an easy guess.
No.
Okay, good. I don't like to guess.
It'll keep you guessing
easily.
until the very last episode, and then
good.
there is a massive bombshell that's dropped at the very last episode.
Like
that
a
will leave
legit,
you
like
gagging,
or just like a
no,
twist?
not a.
Okay, I'm like, oh my god, everyone's gonna die.
Yeah, the world ends. The end. Show's over.
Everyone can guess that then.
No, so it does leave you guessing, and the last few scenes will leave you gagged. Seriously,
which is good because I like when you were first telling me about it, because I don't really know much about it, and me and Steph were talking about it before this podcast, and it didn't really interest me until you just like mentioned that. I really like series that make me guess. Like one series that I never guessed the ending of, and I know you're gonna really love it, and we're talking about it earlier today, but Broadchurch, that was a good one. I just could not guess it, and
also David Tennant.
I know, right? But he's still the best in Jessica Jones because he's like super evil and super.
He does evil so well though.
I know he does. I guess we were first introduced with Barty Crouch Jr. and goes from there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. I like series that make me guess. So if it, obviously now just finding out, I'd be more inclined to watch it, knowing that I like to guess my series.
And the love between those two men is the most beautiful thing, and it's just the two main characters have so much chemistry together. It's just beautiful. It's good. Really beautiful, and it's a beautifully written, and even just the scenery is just gorgeous.
And obviously the actors, not that I've seen it, but I'm just trying to guess and imply they guess, I guess they executed it really well. Yes. And believable and
yes.
Perfect. Okay, that's what you want. There's nothing worse when you do get those two actors and you can kind of tell, okay, the chemistry is just not there.
Yes.
So
if you do watch it, please send me an email and tell me what you thought of it.
Yeah, do. So I'll mention that again. It's nerdazons@outlook.com. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I've kind of lost track, but it is nerdazons@outlook.com. We do want to hear from you guys, so please, if you got any movies or TV shows, send it on in. But yeah, so have you got anything else to add on London Spy?
It's amazing.
Just watch it. It's my recommendation.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, I guess it's now over to me. So I am actually going to talk about another Netflix series called The Alienist.
I'm so keen to see this.
Oh my god, it's so good. I haven't finished. I'm only up to episode, I think, 8 so far. Because I haven't had, between studies and work, I haven't really had time to. And it's one of those series that you have to just turn the lights off and be completely focused on it. And I can't watch it on a phone. I can't watch it on a laptop. I have to watch it on my big TV.
You said turn the lights out. Is it scary?
It's like a thriller. Lights it's a TV show, so
yeah. Lights on for me then.
It depends. You'll get scenes.
I have to watch Stranger Things with the lights on.
Yeah, you'll need the lights for this. You will. So The Alienist is very Jack the Ripper meets so the elements of Jack the Ripper are the murders and stuff and the time. So it's set in the late 1800s. Meets Ripper Street, so where you got all the corrupt cops and everything in that time as well. Meets Sherlock Holmes, where you've got people who think they can solve the murder and they're not, they're not cops, but they think they can solve it by people's mannerisms and stuff, and it's really, really great. So I should probably say, in the 19th century, so people who suffer from a mental illness were thought to be alienated from their own true natures. And the experts who studied them were therefore known as alienists. So I just thought that was really cool to explain it, and it's on at the beginning of every episode. So
a little pop-up that explains.
It does. It tells you exactly where the term is. And it's the late 1800s, so it's a conflicting time for scientists and med students and cops, and they all mix together. And especially someone who thinks they can make a living out of studying the mind. There's no such thing as depression. There's no such thing as oppressed feelings and anxiety and anything like that. So anyone who's studied that is just, you go to the church, you don't go to that. So it's really, really good.
I'm pulling a wanking motion.
Yeah, sorry for all you podcast listeners. She's saying yes. But no, I absolutely love it. I'm really, I have a really bad habit. I spend the whole episode or movie guessing. I have to do it. It's something me and my twin do a lot. So I'm pretty sure people
I'm the complete opposite, though. I have to say, I'm the complete opposite. I just go wherever the show takes me.
Oh, no, I can't.
I can't think about it because then I'll guess it and then I'll get sad if I guess wrong.
See, whereas me and my twin, we could sit there and we could just watch a movie or a TV series and we'll be like, I bet this is what's going to happen. I bet that's going to happen. And then we just love nothing more to know that we've guessed it right. And like 95% of the time we've guessed it right. And, like, I was just, getting into this series, and I was doing what you do. I was trying to, like, just let it go, just watch it. But it's a crime series. You're going to want to try and guess it as you go. And I really thought, like, they don't really introduce many suspects, so it really, like, it leaves it with your mind. Like, you get thrown into it, and it's like, okay, there is, like, literally no suspects. You can't leave it to guess. You just think it's this, like, horrible monster. And there are, like, red herrings, which is great too, because if you do sit there and guess, you think, oh, it's, there already, but it just takes another twist, and it's really, really good. And there is one more, like, similarity, without giving too much away, I hope, so sorry if I spoil it for anyone, but if you ever watched the series Hannibal.
I loved that series.
Yeah, like, how the main guy, I know, you could almost...
I just found out that he is actually married to Claire Danes.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
Cool.
Hashtag random.
Yeah, like, okay. But, like, with the main guy, like, you see his character development. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier today with method actors, where they delve themselves into it and then it's really hard for them to pull back. And you see that in Hannibal. And I'm, like, starting to see it with one of the characters in this series. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's getting really good. Like, he's not going to be able to come back out of it. So... yeah, I'm really, really keen to finish how that one goes. Definitely watch it if anyone out there, listening is really into that sort of stuff. So that's my recommendation.
I'm going to start watching it now too.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I can't wait to finish it. And someone came in, like, to my work the other day saying that they're watching it, and he's saying, wait till you get to the end. And I'm like, I need to finish this next big assignment so I can sit down and have a night and just watch it. So I'm really keen to do that. But yeah, that was my TV show of the day. So... we're on to Steph's fun facts.
Okay, so I love useless facts. They're awesome, and
she's full of them.
Yeah, I really am. So, if you want to pull some of these out at your next party and be, a cool kid.
Yeah, cool.
So, I've got two for you. One is where the middle finger came from. Does anyone know?
I know. I mean, I know there's, like, a Viking story behind it.
A Viking story?
Like, when you're missing, it was something about where they would cut the finger off because that was, like, the bow and arrow. I really can't remember. I'm going back to high school here, so this is, like, 10 years ago. But it was, something like they would cut it off so you couldn't shoot the bow and arrow anymore. So... or it was other fingers around it. I don't know. So when they would stick it up, that's yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I don't know if that's the story you've got today, but I do remember hearing something like, I don't know if it's like Anglo-Saxons or what, but
when
10 years is a bit hard to remember.
When people would pickpocket, they would generally use their thumb, their pointer, and their middle finger to like pickpocket. So what happens is that what you would do is if you didn't get caught, you would use your pointer and your middle finger and stick that up at, coppers to say, ha.
Yeah, that's a very,
English.
Yes, an English way to say up yours, whereas we would just use the middle finger.
Yeah, so what would happen is if you were caught stealing, you would get your pointer and your middle finger chopped off. So you couldn't really, pickpocket anybody.
Yeah.
So in like the UK and England and things, you stick your two fingers up, and here we've just gone, you know what? 2 fingers, that's too much of an effort. We're just going to stick with 1 finger.
I wonder, maybe it's sort of a similar concept with like that
what you were
whole
saying.
Viking. I really, if I've gotten the facts wrong, for all you historians out there, please, I do apologise. We're talking quite a few years here, okay? And there's been a lot of study and a lot of dorky stuff in between, and movies and TV shows I cannot, and like concerts I can't remember. So, but I do remember there was something along the similar concept lines of them cutting that finger off. So
wow.
I remember my history teacher telling me. He was amazing. And he had a very sad story in the end. So he had a prosthetic eye. So some kids, obviously the younger kids would tease him and stuff. And it obviously affected his sinuses. But they're just as I was finishing school, I found out that they would, and this guy wrote books in history. So he was amazing. And like kids would just spray aerosols in there 5 minutes, shut the door. So when he'd come in, it would really affect his vision and science. And in the end, he had to retire. I remember my other history teacher telling me that. And I'm like, that is so sad for such a great mind to have to do that. But sorry to put a downer on you guys. But I just remember him telling me that story. And he found and he wouldn't even pay attention if anyone was teasing him, because he would just be in such a rant and so excited about it that he couldn't even notice if you weren't even listening. Wow. So he was just really great. So that was a bit of an off topic. Anyway, you have a second fact for us.
Okay. The next one, if you're still on the edge of your seat wanting to learn more, the next one is, why do we clink our drinks?
Oh, let's clink. For our first podcast. Woo.
So the reason why you clink your drink or cheers when you drink is because generally when you have a drink, you can see it, you can taste it, you can smell it, you can see it, but you can't hear it. So
I guess unless you slosh it around, and if you're an 1800 hooker holding a bottle or an ale like a Viking, I guess you could hear it.
Oh yeah.
You can hear it pouring into the glass.
Oh yeah.
So there you go, you can hear it.
Shut up, that doesn't count.
This has been busted.
So what you do when you cheers is meant to bring good luck by having all of your 5 senses connected at once.
Oh, that's pretty. So where was that fact originated from?
Okay. That's from back at school.
Okay.
You
learned that at school?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't learn that. That's fun facts at school. I had a drink.
Living in a country town.
Well, I lived in a country town. Not as country as you, but that's a pretty cool fact.
Mm-hmm.
So are they the only facts you've got for us today?
Just today, yes.
So if any of you, we were going to mention it at the end, but if anyone has other really cool fun facts that you want Steph to mention, or
if you want to know
if we happen to get any of them incorrect, so we really do apologize, guys. But if you did get any of them incorrect, we have an email, so it's nerdazons@outlook.com. Feel free to send us an email and tell us how it goes.
What are you going to
we're going to talk about Angie's Penny Dreadfuls. So it is not a really awesome TV show, which it is a really awesome TV show.
Quick question. Yeah. What is a penny dreadful?
Okay, so a penny dreadful is a term that originated in the 19th century. Mm-hmm. They were short stories, and they were quite often, as the term suggests, they were dreadful stories, and they were sold for a penny. Quite often,
wow.
It's pretty cool actually. I really didn't know about this until I think it was when Penny Dreadful first came out, and I googled the term, and I'm like, I've got to Google this and find out. But it's really interesting. So there would often be reprints or rewrites of popular literature at the time. And obviously it wouldn't be the same. You'd be paying popular. Sorry, can't talk today, guys. At a price of $1, which is 12 pennies. Is what you would pay. So obviously you get what your penny is, less for your literature, so it's half the story. So you really just get a really short bleak story. And little fun facts for you guys. Did you know that Sweeney Todd came from a penny dreadful?
What?
Yep, so the story of Sweeney Todd originated in a penny dreadful, a series of penny dreadfuls at the time, actually. So that's how the legend of Sweeney Todd came. And quite often, a lot of those writers at the time would be under a different, anonymous name, so you wouldn't know it was them writing. And they would write about things that had happened sort of around in newspapers and things like that. So the story could have come from a man who did those things, but he originated from a penny dreadful. Yeah, so they were quite often macabre and scary stories.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was around, so I guess that's before you had the internet and Netflix. So you got to get your kicks from that, and that's what a penny dreadful is. And my penny dreadful today is going to be about a cult in the 80s, which was known as the Rajneesh movement. Now, the reason I chose this is purely because a few weeks ago we had a few friends over for the Queen's birthday. We were watching The Crown, which is another amazing series, which we will talk about in another podcast probably. And one of my partner's friends was going to go until she said, "Oh, put Wild Wild Country on." So we put it on, hooked in the first episode. I had to finish. They're an hour long. She left us after getting us hooked on this one episode to finish it, and it's a 6 episode series, so we're talking 6 hours to watch this incredibly in-depth story.
You can watch that and London Spy.
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as I mentioned it, I knew you were going to say that.
I need to watch that's on my list as well.
But I did that in between assignments, so I'm sure I could find time for London Spy. But it's really, really interesting. It's not as, it gets pretty bad, like some of the stuff that happened, but it's not as bad as like Jonestown, with the mass
but does it
poisonings.
Does it have like interviews with the real people from the real cult?
Yeah, that's what made Wild Wild Country so big, and it's really, really, it's new, it's on Netflix, so really do watch it. But there's a main secretary too, so the head of this cult was called Bhagwan to begin with. I shouldn't say cult because it's like a religion, and it is still around. And they changed his name of the leader to Osho later, so they refer to him as Osho. So it'll be one or the other that you'll hear of. And his secretary in the 80s, her name was Sheila. So that's what makes this Wild Wild Country very, very interesting, because you had her right hand woman. The lawyer at the time, which you knew he was going to be a big part. As soon as he said he was a lawyer, I'm like, okay, you're coming into the story later, like, as you guess, as I can't help it. And they all had commented on it, and they talked about it. So that's what made it really, really interesting, especially Sheila. So she obviously she was kind of pushed into this religion with her family, so she kind of grew up with it. That's what she knew. She was just, like, it's amazing to see how many people loved him, this man, and would just do anything. Like, that just is what shocks me.
So they were like, he was like their god.
Pretty much. They saw him as that. And it's just like, and the things that people did for him, and it's just like, it blows your mind to think that people will go to those lengths for other people. And it's just like, that's what draws you in when you sit and think like that. Yeah, in their way. And some of the movements and spasms that were part of their rituals, like, people would think that they were just really, really high, but it's like, your body's spasming, your head's flicking around, your blood's moving in different like angles. Of course, you're gonna get head spins, and like it's like they kind of formed. I think they started in India in the like late sort of 70s. So it's the 70s, man. Everyone was on drugs. Like they claimed to be a religion that wasn't really big on alcohol and stuff. They had 2 rations, so none of them were drunks. But they had their 2 beers a day, which later like Sheila poisoned. So, yeah, like, it gets really insane. So Sheila was sent to America to look for a new place, because not that everyone else believed it, like, because they're so brainwashed. He had to flee India, and he did just one night just go, and everyone, like, mass movements went to America to, like, they built an entire community, like,
wow.
houses and everything, which later, they had hidden secret passages. They were, it is known as the biggest mass wiring that the CIA, I think they said CIA or federal police or whatever, like, title they had at that time, had found. So they are known as like the biggest mass, like they wired everyone. They were known as like a sex cult because they didn't believe in marriage and you can be with whoever you wanted, yet there were conflicting things so people could get green cards and stuff like that. Like they had marriages with like formed, and so really conflicting. But anyway, let's like go forward. Like they ended up having their own like police force. So they were armed, like they trained 6 times a day with guns. Wow. So they were armed. Sheila got very militant very quickly. Like they did a mass town poisoning intentionally, and they poisoned around 700 people, and they did that with salmonella in like salad bars and everything. So they had many attempted murders on political figures, which, those cases got reopened later because, it was an attempted murder. They didn't do anything, obviously. They even got to a point where Sheila was so, I don't know where her mind was at that time, but she thought people who were getting too close to Bhagwan were a threat. And so she even they attempted killing them as well. And then she fled, and then obviously all the court cases. But then it got out later that they even thought of trying to, now this is pretty but they tried to poison the town because they read somewhere that beavers introduced to the water supply can bring in poison, but they couldn't put them in because there was a lid on top of the water tank. So they thought, so this is the really gross part, and I really do apologize to any viewers out there, but they killed them, chopped them up and blended it, and thought they could pour the mixture of the beavers into the thing, but it was just sealed shut. They couldn't get to the water supply.
Wow. Sorry, stop just there for a second.
That's probably the most brutal thing that they did.
Fun Steph fact.
Okay.
Speaking of beavers, did you know that vanilla essence, essence, the fake vanilla.
Like the little bottle?
Yeah, the little bottle. So not the
don't
extract.
Tell me it's like...
No, wait. So not the extract, the vanilla essence is actually found, it's made from the glands of the beaver's bum.
You just ruined one of my favourite winter drinks. Milk and vanilla, essence in it.
Yeah, I went to a vegan wedding and that they couldn't have certain things because it had vanilla essence in it. And I said, why can't you eat vanilla essence? Because, it's vanilla, right? And they said no. And, later found out it's due. But, however...
I'd still eat it. Sorry, guys.
Drink
it, I should say.
Who actually thinks that I'm going to
just,
go
take this from a bite?
I
know. I don't... but then you think about it. Who thinks of just sucking on the teat of a cow? Oh, look, there's milk in there. Who comes up with that?
Humans are weird.
We are pretty weird. And same with, eggs. Just for all you viewers out there, and I know a lot of my really close friends are going to know, I'm on eggs now. This topic is not going to end. I fudging love eggs. I'll eat it every day. I'll eat it all day. I just love it. I love nothing more than eggs.
Another Steph fact. I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't ruin eggs for me.
No. So do you all remember Noddy?
Oh, yes.
So, Noddy's friend? They had to stop him because I can't remember Noddy's friend's name.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, no, he would eat more than 6 eggs a day, and that back then, eggs are bad. You can't have it too much cholesterol, so they had to stop him from eating eggs.
Well, you're not meant to have more than 2 yolks a day. So back when I did high intensity training and it was a strict protein diet, you can have unlimited egg whites, which you can actually conveniently, I know I said this to people before and they said it was gross, but you can buy them frozen, and actually when they defrost and you make it into an omelette and put spinach and stuff in it, a really nice, good, healthy protein diet, it's actually really good. Once you get past the idea that they're frozen.
And it looks like snot.
It does when it comes out. It really does. But, I just love egg. I could just eat it.
Eggs are pretty good.
Oh, my God, they're the best. I could have... Yeah. And, it's funny. Every time me and my partner... Sorry, side note here. We go and have breakfast. He'll always get something new and something different. I always get the same. It's my fried eggs or my sourdough bread with a side of halloumi. Every time.
Oh, how good is halloumi?
Oh, my God, it's the best. Okay, we're getting off topic now. But anyway, please... definitely give Wild Wild Country a watch because it really hooks you in. We were hooked. We could not finish it. I think we managed... I wanted to stay up, but everyone wanted to go to bed. It was midnight then, so we let it go. But yes, so good. You can easily do it in a night or a day. Worth it.
Well, there goes my weekend.
I know, right? But anyway, so we hope you guys really, really enjoyed it. Please... if you loved it, follow us, show us some support.
We're on Facebook and Instagram.
You've got our email, which I'll repeat it again. It's nerdazons@outlook.com. If you've got any fun facts for us or any really cool Penny Dreadfuls, I love all those, really cool mystery, scary stories.
Or any shows, or movies that you want us to...
TV shows and movies, or even, any really cool, fun, nerdy stuff out there. We usually frequent... conventions and the cosplaying world. Steph's major in D&D world, so we love it all. So please feel free to send us some fan mail, share the love with your friends and family, help get us some support so we can keep podcasting. But we'll see you next time. We are going to release it once a month, hopefully more if we get some support, but for now it'll be once a month and it'll release every month on the 30th. I think we decided the 30th of every month. So keep your ears out for the next podcast.